Item number 20, AB 2307.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members, and thank you to my colleagues for giving me this courtesy. I present to you today AB 2307. As you know, existing law provides for the development and adoption of Common Core academic content standards by the State Board of Education and requires the State Board to adopt curriculum frameworks and instructional materials that are aligned to those content standards. Existing law establishes the measurement of academic performance and progress for the development, adoption, and administration of assessments to pupils in elementary and secondary school that, among other things, assess the Common Core academic content standards. AB 2307 would allow California school districts to opt out of implementing Common Core standards. AB 2307 would specify that a school district may opt out of a state statute or regulation that would require the use of the Common Core academic content standards by that school district, including but not limited to curriculum frameworks, instructional materials, and assessments or tests. This bill is not meant to argue whether Common Core standards are good or bad for students. Rather, this bill is designed to support both supporters and opponents of this new standard by giving local control back to the school districts to decide what is best for the students and educators in their district. There are many supporters on both sides of the fence who have devoted time and energy into opposing or supporting the use of Common Core standards. There are many pros and cons about what's best for the future leaders of our state. Parents and educators alike have been very vocal about this controversial new standard, not only here in California but across the country. I just ran into a superintendent who really didn't know much about it. Last night I had dinner with a group of realtors and did not expect to be discussing Common Core. Overwhelmingly, the experience in informational meetings that we've held across the state and informal conversations with people across the political spectrum, both educators and non-educators alike, have been that where this has been implemented, and in particular the tests, students who are regularly good students are struggling, and they're coming home in tears. They're coming home with a great deal of frustration, and it's not just the students, it's their parents. And I brought here today to testify on behalf of the bill two parents as well as one member of a school board, Angela Weinsinger and Sandra Smith. If you'd please.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, committee members. Thank you so very much for being willing to hear this bill. My name is Angela Weinsinger, and I am an elected school board member of the Travis Unified School District. I'm here representing not my district or my board per se. I am here representing myself as a parent. But I want you to know how very important that it is that we retain the local control at the school board levels to know and do what's best for the districts, each district. That is one of the reasons why I took the time and the energy and the effort to run for school board, because I realized how important it was that those school board members are representing me as a parent and my children as students. And so I would greatly encourage you to take serious consideration into this bill. I have spoken with several parents and the frustrations that their children have had, even in taking the new Smarter Balance testing that's been happening right now. I have a niece who took the first day of testing, and she came home, and she's a pretty brilliant little girl, and told her mom, "Mom, these tests were so much different than what we took with the practice testing, and they were really, really hard, and I hated it, and I want to go back to doing the STAR testing." And I have a sixth grader myself who decided, or who had taken a regular math test in her class, and out of the 31 students, about 26 of them failed the test, the regular math test. And there was a lot of frustration, and even the teacher was very frustrated with that day. A lot of tears out of the classroom. And these were pretty good students. And so they're frustrated with the issues that they're having to deal with in teaching and learning this. And so I would like you to very much consider allowing each of the districts at their local level to decide what is best for their students in their district based on what they see is going on for their students and those parents. And I greatly appreciate your listening and hearing this bill today.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sandra Smith. I am not typically a political activist, but I am a mother of 4. I work full-time. My kids are 6, 11, and 17, and we are local here to Sacramento. I have noticed a change in what they've been bringing home with them as far as work and attitude towards school. But I also should have introduced myself as far as association. I'm the founder of Democrats Against Common Core. And I think it's important for the committee to realize that this is not just a Republican issue. This is a parental issue. And there are thousands of us in the group in California who are opposed to Common Core. And I've never seen a group of Republicans and Democrats get along so well. Never in my life have I ever seen them just absolutely unite over an issue. And the issue that we're united over is that we are opposed to the Common Core curriculum and standards. And please don't tell me that the curriculum and the standards are different. If you have to do something by a certain method on a test, then you have to be taught that method. So I just have to say my junior took the SBAC, the test SBAC test, and he said it was ridiculous that under the guise of math, the long question about telling him how great solar energy is, talked about how they should have flat roofs so that they can best utilize solar energy, and then asked kind of a nonsensical question about the angle of a roof. So there's just way too much that's really not math and English based that's built into, it's not just textbooks, but into the testing. And California standards were better before. And if some districts think that they're really in favor of Common Core, by all means let those districts adopt Common Core. But also, if their districts are opposed to Common Core, and I don't mean the districts, I mean the parents, the people like me. A lot of times I think people are forgetting this is about children. You know, my 6-year-olds, if they're happy or not when they go to school, when they come home and it's bath time, do we have time to read stories before bedtime, or are there gigantic homework packets? And I think there's also a misconception that people don't like it because it's too hard, and that's wrong. It's not that it's too hard. I'm all for raising standards. It's that they're written in such a way that they don't make any sense, not to adults or teachers or children. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And other witnesses support, if you could just state your name and affiliation without any additional comments, again, that would be greatly appreciated. We have a very, very long agenda today.
My name is Laura O'Neill. I'm from Tustin in Orange County. I'm with the O'Neill family. I'm here supporting my kids, and I strongly support AB 2307.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Noah Kahn, and I strongly support this bill.
Thank you, Noah.
Hi,
Noah can follow instructions, too. I like that. That's right.
Hi, my name is Ruth Fant. I have a 5-year-old at Newport Mesa Unified School District. I'm fighting cancer, I'm fighting Common Core, and I strongly agree with this bill.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eric Stolting. I'm a father of 4, homeschooled them from young age on until graduation. I am very much in favor of this bill, and I would also like to remind you that you gave the people who were opposed to the prior bill the fact that parents have the choice to opt out of certain things. Well, I would like you to give the school districts, who are much in more local control with their parents of their own students, the same opt-out option of this Common Core standard.
And if if you could just state your name and affiliation, that would be greatly appreciated.
I'm Ian, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
I'm Dane Mallow, and I'm from Windsor, and I support this bill.
Good, and go Giants. Thank you.
I'm Brody Mallow, and I'm a student of Windsor, and I support this bill.
I'm their mom. I'm an educator, and I also support this bill.
Thank you.
I'm their grandmother, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Christopher Duran. I am the sixth grader who was interrogated by his principal for the opt-out forms, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
I'm Catherine O'Neill Duran. I'm the mother of Christopher Duran, who was prevented from handing out his opt-out forms. I have the packet here, a letter that I wrote and opt-out form, and these were confiscated from my child in his school by the principal and the teachers, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Orlene Kurla. I'm the president of Eagle Forum of California, also the founder and director of Californians United Against Common Core, and the author of 2 books about it, Common Core Trojan Horse for Education Reform, The Hidden Seas of Common Core, and I have the whole Catherine Duran and her son Christopher story in my book, and I'd like to present these to you as a gift.
Great. Thank you.
My name is Rose Gerges, and I'm a math teacher, and I've had the pleasure of giving these great, wonderful Common Core standards to the children, and I hear their cries, and I have to tell them this is what we're going to be doing, and it's getting harder and harder, and I just gave the S back. Not one of my children opted out. I wish they had, but apparently I'm not allowed to tell their parents they have this opportunity.
Thank you. Again, if we could state the name and affiliation, that would be appreciated.
My name is Dave Gear, former Vice Mayor of Modesto, member of the City Council. I am a volunteer with the citizens of Stanislaus County Against Common Core.
Thank you.
Karen Klinger, Sacramento, of a large neighborhood of 93,000 people who are, most of them are not even aware of this. We're a very diverse neighborhood. Common Core is not going to be a justified type of education for those who are poor and not familiar with technical information. I highly support this bill and oppose Common Core.
Thank you.
I'm Grace Stein, and I'm from Modesto, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
I'm Gordon Stein, and I'm from Modesto, and I support this bill.
Thank you, Gordon.
I'm Andrew Stein from Modesto, and I support this bill. And don't forget, all school districts in California that have Common Core had to take it for their funding for the year. It wasn't a choice. Thank you.
Pat Bicknell, founder of Citizens of Stanislaus County Against Common Core. I'm a retired public educator, and I am strongly for this bill.
Thank you.
I am Peggy Nickel, founder of Citizens of Sonoma County Against Common Core, and I strongly support this bill.
Thank you.
Melissa Wilson from El Dorado County, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
Misty Newey, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Joshua Newey, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Jaden Brown. I am a 7th grader in Manteca, and I strongly support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Jenna Brown, and I live in Manteca, and I have dyslexia, and I strongly support this bill.
Thank you.
I'm Shannon Brown. I'm the mother of those 3 kids, and I strongly support this bill as a parent and as of one of their main educators.
Thank you.
I am Jaylene Brown from Manteca, California, and I strongly support this bill.
Thank you.
Charlene Tanner from Truckee, and I strongly support this bill.
Thank you.
I'm Judy Gallo. I have 11 grandchildren in the Placer County school system, and I'm a math tutor, and I very much support this bill.
Thank you.
Paul Gallo from Rockland. I very much support this bill.
Thank you.
Distinguished council members, my name is John Guzman from Canyon Lake in Riverside County, and I too support this bipartisan bill.
Thank you.
Samantha DeVore of Yuba City. I support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie Lockwood from Dixon, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
Cheryl Wolcott, Glenn County, parent of these two, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
I'm Zane Wolcott, and I support this bill.
I am Cold Wolcott, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
Mason Watson from Glenn County, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
Amy Watson, mother to Mason Watson, Glenn County, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
Callista Buss, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
Cora Brush, we're from Tehama County, and we support this bill.
Thank you.
Robin Judd, grandmother of 20, but I'm here by myself to support this bill. Keep the decisions local, please.
Thank you.
Judy Kaler, Nevada County. Let's have to opt into it instead of opt out of it. Nevada, I strongly support the bill.
Thank you.
My name is Nick Smith, and I'm from Antelope, and I go to Dudley, and I try to get as much of my friends to opt out of Common Core testing, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Venubia Robinson, and I'm an English teacher and ESL teacher, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Caleb Robinson, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Dana Stuck from Colfax, and I support this bill. I'm a teacher and mother of 6, and I think if it's as wonderful as everyone thinks, the Common Core, then let the parents say.
Thank you.
My name is Michael Stuck from Colfax, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Anna Stuck, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
I'm Jacob Stuck, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Jan Collins. I'm founder of Common Core Concerns in Nevada County, and we strongly support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Colleen Britton. I'm founder of Parents and Teachers Concerned about Common Core in Napa, Solano, and Yolo counties, and I strongly support local control and this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Jan Chappelle from Yorba Linda, California, from Faithful Christian Servants, and I strongly support this bill.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Heather Chappelle. I'm with Faithful Christian Servants of Orange County, and I strongly support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Helen Kingsbury of Yorba Linda, and I ask that you pass AB 2307 as I passionately support this bill.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Stolting, and I strongly support this bill.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Deborah Stolting. I'm grade 7, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Susie Kahn, again, of Faithful Christian Servants of Orange County, and I strongly support this bill.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Esther Dahm of Marysville, California. I'm a 10-year homeschool veteran of 3 children, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Rebecca Dahm, and I strongly support this bill.
Thank you.
Again, I'm Annabella Musia, and I'm from Garden Grove in Orange County, and I drove a long ways to support this bill.
Thank you.
Diana Sutton from the Sacramento County, and a parent, and I really appreciate it if you'd vote for this, and I strongly support the bill.
Thank you.
Barbara Dolan, 7-term elected board member from the College of Marin and the Indian Valley campus. I'm in strong support of this bill.
Thank you. Are there any other witnesses in support? Are there any witnesses in opposition? We'll take 2 speakers, or up to 2 speakers, and others can just wait at the mic. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members. Deborah Brown with Children Now, and we are opposed to AB 2307 because we see it as backtracking on an important transition that our schools are undertaking to ensure that our students are on a track to graduate college and career ready. The standard set goals to ensure students are prepared for the 21st century global economy, and these are clear learning expectations to be met along the way. A couple of things. In the analysis, under the supporters section, it's noted that they urge that curriculum decisions be made at the local level. Well, they are, because what the standards do is they set expectations while the curriculum is developed by districts and teachers. Additionally, Common Core is not unpopular. In a recent PPIC survey, 70% of Californians polled said that they did support the Common Core standards. And it also note that on citing the analysis for the arguments in opposition, the important need that we do set a state, we have a state expectations, and the state has an obligation to ensure that there's a baseline and goals and expectations that we expect our schools and students to meet. And further, the state has been committed to that. We invested $1.25 billion in this effort so far, and our teachers and our educators and our leaders need to know that we're behind them and that we need to have these state standards that set those expectations. So we urge your no vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members. Kimberly Rodriguez with the Association of California School Administrators. We are opposed to this bill. Our members and our association has been a strong supporter of Common Core since it was adopted in 2010. Since that time, the state has taken numerous steps, both at the state level and at the local level, regarding implementation of the standards. I would note that not all of the standards are new. There's a good portion of the old standards in English language arts and math that are part of the Common Core standards. They're embedded with them. As my colleague from Children Now noted, we've just allocated $1.25 billion to schools. All school districts receive that funding, took it, and are using it. And we feel that right now, as we speak, most LEAs, or if not, are going to soon take the new state computer adaptive assessments that we've invested in. They've bought in technology and gotten their schools ready to do this. So we feel that because of that, everyone should be held to the same standard, and you can't do that if you let people opt out of it. So for these reasons, we oppose the bill.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other witnesses in opposition? If you could state your name and affiliation.
Isabel Garcia with the California Teachers Association, in opposition to the bill for the reasons articulated by the previous witnesses.
Thank you.
Gail Billick, sixth grade teacher at Templeton Middle School, and I oppose this bill.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Shannon Smith Crowley, representing the American Association of University Women for California. We're also in opposition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Kim McGill from the Youth Justice Coalition. We represent youth, and we're youth ourselves who went through continuation schools and schools inside lockups. Those were schools with no standards, and if you were lucky, very low standards. And we know that means no preparation for college, no teachers teaching within their credentials, and no preparation for career. We need higher standards, if anything, not no standards in California.
Thank you.
My name is Gloria Gonzalez, and I'm with the Youth Justice Coalition, and I oppose this bill.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Juan Peña, and I'm a youth organizer with the Youth Justice Coalition, and I oppose this bill because I was handed in a continuation school that they just gave me a laptop and I got all my answers from Google and the ask.com, and that's not really education because when someone's really doing that, they're not really learning anything. Thank you.
Liz Guillen with Public Advocates, also in opposition.
Well, they'll have to decide. Thank you. So are there any other witnesses in support or opposition? Are there any comments from members? Member Gonzalez.
I just want to be clear because of some of the comments that under current Common Core, it's like previous education code where parents can still opt out of their children taking the standardized test, correct?
Yes, that is correct. Parents can opt out.
I just want to be clear on that because, many people stated, and I want to thank all the kids who spoke in particular. As a mom, I know sometimes to get your kids to do anything you want to do is tough, but they spoke so eloquently. I, for years, have a daughter who has opted out of taking the STAR test and understand the importance of that when you have children with different needs and different desires. When it comes to testing, but overall support of the Common Core. And so if there was a problem with the opt-out feature of Common Core and testing, I'd be very supportive, but I can't support your bill at this time.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments? Submember Olson.
I have quite a few. Thank you, Madam Chair.
appreciate you bringing the bill forward because I think it's important for us to have conversations with the public about Common Core. This is a whole new era in education, and as with any transition, there are challenges along the way and questions that people have, so it gives an opportunity for discussion, and I think that's a positive thing. I want to start by saying welcome to all of you who were from Modesto or Manteca or other parts of those two counties. Great to see you here and engaging in the legislative process. I also wanted to say, as Assemblywoman Gonzalez did, I want to remind everybody that parents can opt out of Common Core, of what we've had in the past. There is absolutely nothing that prohibits parents from opting out. And to the sixth grader who was interrogated by your principal, I'm not sure where you went, but that is completely unacceptable. And I would certainly stand by your side if you were interrogated by any person on staff at your school. So if you and your parents want to talk later, I'd be happy to talk with you about that. But that's completely unacceptable, and I certainly want to support parents and students' rights to opt out of their education. Having said that, let's talk a little bit about Common Core and a little bit about this bill. I have 3 children myself, a 6th grader, a 4th grader, and a kindergartner. And the 6th grader completed his pilot Smarter Balanced testing a couple of weeks ago, and my daughter is actually taking it this week. And certainly there are some concerns that I think many of us share as we begin to implement Common Core in California. I'm concerned about English language learners and their ability to do well on the math parts that now require some English proficiency as well, and so we're watching that closely and working that out, and that's part of why we're piloting the testing this year to see what works and what doesn't. I'm very, very frustrated as a parent that I don't get to see the results, that my kids don't get the results of the field testing this year. Both my kids have expressed frustration. They said, "Mom, well, when are we going to find out how well we did?" And I told them, never. Well, when are you going to find out how well we did? Never. And that's very frustrating to us because how are we supposed to know if our schools and our kids are prepared to do well if we don't know how well they're doing when we are testing it? But having said that, I asked them, well, what do you think of the test? My son loved the math portion of it. He thought it was fun. He felt it allowed him to be creative. He thought it was really cool. The English language part, he said he didn't mind it, but that it was very challenging. And I took that as a positive. I want to challenge our kids. My daughter's taking it now, and on her first day after yesterday, she said, well, it's challenging, but I kind of thought it was fun, and I'm looking forward to doing it again tomorrow. Ultimately, the success of Common Core will depend on its implementation. We need to make sure our teachers are ready, our schools are ready, our kids are prepared, but that would be true with any transition to any new system. In the early 90s, when we transitioned to No Child Left Behind, that was not a perfect transition, and I would argue it never became a great solution. But I would hope that everybody, including the author, would agree that what we are doing today, pre-Common Core, is not working. California ranks, I think it's 48th in the nation for educational success. That is completely unacceptable to me as a state legislator, to me as a parent, to me as an employer in the past, completely unacceptable. And we should all have an interest in raising our academic achievement for the well-being of our kids, our future, and the strength of our economy. And so then we have to take a look at, so if we're not doing well today, then we would all have an interest in doing something different. And the concept behind Common Core, and again, while agreeing that there are a lot of kinks that need to be worked out, that no transition is perfect, but the strength of Common Core is that in concept, the goal is to actually provide more local control over students' education, to provide critical thinking skills, communication skills, collaboration, skills that are woefully inadequate in so many of our graduating students today, as we hear from employers over and over and over and over again. And we have to be able to address that. Time will tell whether Common Core is the answer, but I'll say what isn't the answer is what we have been doing. And so then that brings me to this bill, which I read, and my concern is, And my question, I suppose, is how is this bill retaining local control over education? Because as I read the language of the bill, what it says is that a school could opt out of Common Core, and for any school that does choose to opt out of Common Core, it would revert back to the previous state standards that were set under No Child Left Behind and would require them to go back to the STAR testing. So I'm not sure how that accommodates local control, because school districts actually had less local control under No Child Left Behind than they have under Common Core. And so that's my first question.
Well, the purpose of this bill is, and as you know, as Ms. Gonzalez referenced, the opting out. And a lot of parents have run into a buzzsaw when they wanted to opt out. They've run into a lot of opposition. Just discussing or talking about Common Core on a campus can get you arrested, and has. And it's important that, and there are people here in this room that have actually been threatened of being arrested for disrupting school activities for simply exercising a constitutional First Amendment right to assemble and discuss and have a meeting to talk about. The problem is, this is now being forced on every single school district in the state of California due to the ties to the funding. And we want to put in place an ability for schools that have enough concerned parents to opt out of it and look for something else and go back to the standards we had previously, which we had some of the best standards in the country. We had some of the strongest standards in the country. And a lot of our schools do very well. And this is perceived as dumbing it down. And there's a lot of, when you have concern that runs the gamut the way that it does, and you have people here that are from across the political spectrum, from across the income and demographic spectrum, you have to listen to that. And so all this would do is put into place an ability for a school district that chooses to opt out and go back to the way they were doing things before, which may have worked for some school districts. That's where the local control comes in.
Okay. And then my second question was, the bill says that any schools that choose to do that would need to start administering the STAR test again. I'm not sure that's workable because it's no longer being provided. It no longer exists for schools to be able to purchase and use. And so how would schools do that?
Well, that does raise a thorny issue, which is, if you're against the Common Core, you don't really have a choice, and you don't have any options. So if you're opting out, what do you do? What do we do right now with the students who are opting out individually?
They don't take a test.
They just don't take the test. So the whole district just wouldn't take the test.
I mean, we'd have to come up with something, obviously. Yeah. But this bill is not about discussing the merits of Common Core. This bill is may I close, or did you have more questions?
I have more comments, but I guess, again, if it was really about strengthening local control, that could be a compelling argument to me. That's one of my core priorities, is empowering our local school districts to make decisions at the local level to best serve kids. I think that's the best place that education can work, because they're obviously more familiar, far more familiar with the unique needs of their students in their district than anyone in state government could be. But then as I reviewed the exact language of the bill, again, I'm confused, and I think there might be a mismatch, and I would encourage you to continue to look into ways to empower local control. But I think this bill actually takes away more local control. Certainly it gives school districts the control, the ability to opt out of Common Core, but then to just have it replaced with a system that, one, has led to very low educational results in the state, and then two, actually takes more control and flexibility out of the classroom than Common Core does, just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I would be happy to meet with anyone, if you were from my district or even outside of my district, for any length of time to go through Common Core in detail. But as a parent, as a lawmaker, I'm hopeful that once we experience full implementation, that we will be really pleased with the results compared to where we've been at today. today. Because again, to be 48th in the nation for educational outcomes is unacceptable, and we have to start doing something different. We have to make sure our kids are better equipped to compete in the marketplace. And I believe over time that's what Common Core seeks to do. Only time will tell. I'd be happy to give you a courtesy motion today because I think it's a positive to have discussions on Common Core and to try to dispel what I call some of the myths. But unfortunately, I won't be able to be supportive of the actual bill today with a vote.
Are there any other comments from members? I have some brief comments. So the State Board of Education has the statutory and, as applicable, the constitutional responsibility of developing standards, identifying assessments, and adopting instructional materials for use in California's classrooms. Compulsory public education is an arm of state government, not local government, state government. And as such, the state has adopted rigorous standards and laws to ensure California's students receive the best education possible. It's contrary to public policy to allow individual districts to opt out of statewide standards and assessments. The assessments are required under the federal law, and any option for schools or districts to opt out will jeopardize over $7 billion in federal funding that the state of California receives annually to educate our students. It's critical that California have a well-articulated state system of education, and it's critical to allow districts to opt out of these key elements. Standards and assessments runs contrary to the premise of compulsory statewide education. And it's for those reasons that I have an opposed position on your bill. I do not believe that you allow individual districts to decide what they want to teach. I believe having a well-articulated state curriculum is what we should be doing, and then we elect people locally to implement that curriculum, to design curriculum to implement those standards. And you know the example I could give you, and I'm not going to go into a long conversation here, is that all these kids, if you have one elementary school that opts out and one that opts in, and the kids go on to middle school, they're going to come there with different bases of knowledge, and it just doesn't work. So I believe it's in the best interest of the state for us to have our state board make these determinations, and for all districts to comply with the curriculum. And it's for that reason that I have an opposed position. So is there a motion? Motion. Is there a second? Okay, would you like to close?
Very briefly. I appreciate the discussion, and I appreciate the points that you've made. We all agree that California is in dire circumstances when it comes to our education. The implementation of Common Core, I do not believe, is the answer, and there's a whole lot of other people who agree with me across this state. There's growing opposition to a set of standards that have not been tested anywhere and using California students as guinea pigs. There is an individual opt-out, which right now, as you've admitted, results in children not being tested.
There's an opt-out to testing, not an opt-out to learning.
Right. So we have to solve this somehow. This bill, AB 2307, is in response to the cries of the children, many of whom are frustrated and unable to adequately perform the way they were before. They're good students. And this is one of those things, as a parent, I know hearing the students, you have to be moved. So maybe this isn't 100% of the answer, but at least we're trying to address the problem that is being created by the implementation of Common Core, of which I have deep concerns. I would ask for your aye vote here today on
Thank you.
AB
We have a
2307.
motion and a second. The motion is due pass the Appropriations Committee. Can we call roll?
Buchanan?
No.
Buchanan, no. Olson?
No.
Olson, no. Chavez? Gonzalez? Gonzalez, no. Nazarian? Nazarian, no. Weber? Williams?
Your motion, your your bill has failed, but I will hold the roll open so the other three members can add on.
Thank you, Madam Chair.